Just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if they're sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 170. Mike Biseglia, Alice Vanessowitz, and the New York Knicks get Game 2 versus the Miami Heat, 111-105. A thrilling game at the Garden, a wild, weird game at Madison Square Garden, one in which was winnable for Miami. Jimmy Butler, of course, did not play for the Miami Heat, but Jalen Brunson, huge in the fourth quarter. Hartenstein, even bigger, and the Knicks get the split. Game 3 now in Miami on Saturday. A lot to dissect from this one. We'll also talk a little Brooklyn Nets as a rumor hit the market today. John Collins for Ben Simmons. I'll tell you why no. All right, Alex. Knicks get the win. A must-have for them. They survive it. They win. And it's now 1-1 going to Miami.
Yeah, there's no style points in the NBA, Mike. I'm doing well. How about you? Okay, great. Yeah, there's no style points in the NBA. You got to get the win in the playoffs, no matter how you can get it. That's for sure. But with that said, the Knicks did everything possible to lose this game. They were awful. They were getting beat by a team that probably wins 30 games if they played a full regular season together. They were awful. And they couldn't, the Knicks were awful. They couldn't do anything right in the beginning of the game. They were missing shots. I mean, Julius Randle was getting his. RJ Barrett was getting his. Brunson didn't start cooking until the end of the game. And it was just, there's no style points, like I said. But this one did not exactly give me confidence in the Knicks to win this series. And especially when there's no Butler, no Herro, no Oladipo, and you're still struggling to win at home in game 2 in a must-win game. Sure, you won, and I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. But my God. That was awful. And if Jimmy Butler's playing in this game, the Knicks lose by 15. Easy. This
is what bothers me so much about this game because it was so winnable. It was winnable.
For the Heat, yeah.
For Miami. And I'm rooting against the Knicks. Miami up 6 with 7.5 minutes left, and that's when the Knicks go on that 21-7 run.
Right.
Really led by, Hardenstein's offensive rebounding was key.
He played really very well, yeah.
But this game was so winnable and was so there and was so frustrating and annoying. And there were 2 calls, one in particular with the refs. I guess one was reviewed on the 3 and the foul, and they said that's the way the rule works. I didn't know that. So be it.
Oh, the 4-point play?
The 4-point play, because the gather and coming up, I guess that's the motion.
To me, just real quick on that, and then we can, I'm sorry. Then I think it was more of, when the foul occurred, he was already shooting. Like,
was he?
The foul didn't occur when they touched each other. The foul occurred when he barreled him over. So they made contact right away.
I hear you.
But when he's falling backwards, that's when the foul is actually
lucky, man.
It's one of those tie goes to the runner, kind of a thing. Like, they made the call on the court. Like, you got to stick with that call. So you know what I mean?
I hear you. That one I'm going to live with because they went
shot
to the
clock
review
thing.
center.
That was the other thing.
But the shot clock thing, when the ball hits the rim and
hit
it's
the rim,
and then Miami gets the put back, it cuts it to 1. Doesn't happen. That's a huge swing.
How do you not
play.
challenge
That's
that?
Bothered me.
I don't think you can. What?
I
Really?
don't know if I would assume. I would assume you would. How can you?
It's real.
It's not
dead.
like it's not like did it go out of bounds? It was just a terrible fucking call, and it brought me back to the Nets Sixers where there was a 24-second violation and they didn't call it. Mikal Bridges froze for a half second, and it was one of those swing momentum plays, and it just really helped the Knicks. And this is what bothers me about this loss. And I hate when people say this, and I will say we, right? This is my team now, okay? So if you're watching this on YouTube, this is my team, okay? Heat.
The Heat.
Culture, all right? This is my team now. It's the Miami Heat. You had an opportunity to win that game, and it gives me flashbacks to Nets versus Bucks in Game 3 when they had the game and they didn't win. And you're like, it's 2-1. You got to get to 4. Enough of this bullshit about you got your split at the Garden. You got to get to 4. And they had an opportunity to just put their stamp on the Knicks and really rip their heart out Because
Right.
if you're doing this without Jimmy Butler, oh, what
It's
an
over. It's over.
opportunity. What an
Yeah, it's over.
opportunity. Now,
Yeah.
if I'm the Heat and I am Miami, I'm going back. I'm Jimmy Butler going, I'm going to have a week off of rest. This team clearly does not fear the Knicks.
No.
They're going to go into Miami extremely confident, and we'll see what happens. But you had the game. It's the first of 4. Enough of this. Well, you got your split shit. You got to get to 4. That would have made it 2. You're halfway home, and you did it in New York, and they're not going to have as many playoff games in the Garden. That to me was a blown opportunity and really, really got on my nerves when it was right there for the taking. It was right there for the taking.
Yeah, and you know what, Randall, you look at his stat line, it looks like he played really well, which he did at times, at 25, 11, and 8, I think he had, or something like that, something along those lines. But like at the end of the day, he looked, if you're watching the game, it didn't look like he had that. I mean, he had a couple shots, some hit the top of the backboard. He was throwing that awful violation at the end of the game when literally, what was there, like 30 seconds left? You're up 5.
24, 22, yeah.
Yeah, 20-ish seconds left. You're up 5. You got the ball under the basket. He's inbounding the ball. Literally, all you have to do is throw the ball down the other end of the court. Just throw it up in the air and throw it down the court if you can't inbound it right away. And what does he do? He steps on the line. It's a violation, and Duncan Robinson nails a 3, and now we have to sweat. It's just, those are the types of plays that winning basketball players don't make. You know, do you think Jimmy Butler is stepping on the line there in that moment? Do you think, Kevin Durant is stepping on the line in that moment? No, they're doing what they can to get that ball in, even if they throw it off a Heat player. They're getting that ball in bounds. They're not taking a violation. That's for damn sure. And it's just plays like that just give me no confidence that this team is going to win this series. Yes, they won style points. I get it. And we could take a hockey reference. The Rangers up 2-0. You're like, they're going to win this series and they lose the next 4 to the Devils. You know what I mean? You never know in these series. You got the win. That's all that matters. There's no style points. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know how a Knicks fan can walk out of this game and be confident. You can be excited that they won, but confidence is gone. That's for sure.
Well, 2 parts to it, and I'll go back to the first part about the Julius Randle conversation. I think it's really clear when you see what Jalen Brunson brings to this team, because if he's not on this team, this is the game they lose 10 times out of 10 because they don't have that scoring. When he gets the ball, he's scared to shoot. I mean, Randle had clutch time, was not involved at all and didn't make any plays. And you can see when the going gets tough, he don't get going and he's not there. But Jalen Brunson, the opposite. He has no fear. He has moxie. He's tough. He's going to go ahead and make shots, even when in the beginning of the game he was bad and last game he was bad. So you look at these free agent signings and trades that the Knicks pulled off. Hart makes the corner 3. Hart misses the corner 3, gets his own offensive rebound. Hartenstein was incredible on the glass in that 4 to 5 minute mark when Miami up 3, Miami up 4. It was like every time they needed the ball, they couldn't get it. And those offensive rebounds just killed them. So those acquisitions, the guys that were brought in were great. Now, to get back to your confidence factor, everybody that was a Knicks fan before this series had the Knicks in 5 or 6.
Right.
And I think if you're watching this, and it still could be Knicks in 6, it really could easily. Jimmy Butler's hurt. It's going back to Miami where it's 1-1, and the Knicks got the win. Like, it's the first of 4. It could easily be that. But I can't. And I will lose. I will lose respect for a Knicks fan that's like, we got this. We can go into Miami and win. This team's like, the Miami Heat don't fuck around, man. Like,
no,
they beat the Bucks in 5. They played today without Jimmy Butler, and they should have won in the Garden. Like if you're still taking them lightly, you're crazy. This team This team is tough and they're well coached and they have good perimeter shooting. I mean, man, this is going to be a really good series. This is 6 or 7. I don't know who's winning this. But you can't tell me, like the confidence factor of, we're going to Miami. We're going to do. I expect it to be split in Miami. And that's why just, again, this.
I hear you, man.
They blew Miami. Miami had this game. The refs didn't help.
Yeah.
And I am in a sick mood from it.
Yeah, the Knicks did everything. Like I said, the Knicks did everything possible to lose this game, and they won. And they were very fortunate. They got that call. Ugh. They didn't win from calls, but they got that call on the shot clock. Every Knicks fan knows it. Mike's putting up the Heat culture sign on his window. But if you're watching on YouTube, and I totally lost my train of thought, you're killing me. What was I saying?
I don't know.
What were
We're
we
talking
talking
about
about?
how real the Heat culture is. People, it's funny when people are arguing, the Heat don't have culture. Let me tell you why that's the dumb thing.
Oh, no, they do. They do. If any team has culture, it's the Heat. What I was going to say is, yeah, they were without Jimmy Butler, but this team is also without Hero and Oladipo. And this is like a team without 3 starters.
Hold on. Keep going.
Or 3 rotation players at least. I don't know if they all started all the time, but it's one of those situations where I don't understand how it was so hard tonight for the Knicks. They won, and I'm happy. And people are going to read my tweets at Knicks Central. They're going to hear the podcast, hear me say that. Like, you're never happy, Alex. I'm like, how can you watch this game as a rational fan and be confident in the game? They did everything possible to lose, and they should have lost to a team that would have won 30 games if they played together an entire regular season, like I said earlier. It's just, my God. I'm repeating myself, but
yeah, we're both frustrated.
A win is a win
right?
is a win.
I hope I spelled culture right, because my God, that'd be embarrassing.
Yes, you spelled it
Cultuer.
right. You spelled heat wrong, by the way. It's Haet.
Could be. You probably get me, man. I'd fall for it. Oh, also, let's I mean, the Miami's. The weird thing too here about this game is, what do they always say? What does Mike Biseglia always say? The role players play well at home and they don't on the road.
Not this
the
game.
Role players for the Heat were great. Yeah. Martin, Strauss,
Vincent.
I mean, they played as well as they realistically can, right? Duncan hit a couple of shots. They played really well. But I mean, the Knicks, and then they did get role play. I shouldn't say that completely, because Hartenstein and Hart played very well. Quickly had a little burst in the third quarter or the early parts of the fourth, but that was really it. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, they didn't really get much scoring in other places. I guess credit Tibbs, because at the end of the game, he didn't play Barrett. He went with the lineup that was working. You can say what you want, like you got to put RJ Barrett in there, but if you're in the midst of a 20-6 run, you go with what's in there and it's working, even if it's not coming from Randall or Barrett. It worked. So I give Tibbs credit that he wrote out that, and he ultimately got the win, and that's what his job is there to do, and it worked out. Obi Toppin's not going to play anymore. I think that's clear. They just don't coexist.
They don't like him. Tibbs just doesn't like Obi Toppin. It's simple. And Spoelstra was running circles around Tibbs this entire game. There was open shot after open shot after open shot for the Heat. And it's where we're at. Spoelstra he's just that good, man. And he really has impressed. We didn't think he was that good in the beginning of his career. You're like, it's Riley's puppet. He's just riding the coattails, and LeBron, and before that, whatever. But so remember last episode, we had our boy Buddha, Mike Budalish.
Yeah.
Buddha, and he was at Budalicious on Twitter, if you want to follow him. Big Knicks fan, been on the podcast. He was actually at game 2, and he sent me a voice note again, and this was him.
Have you heard this?
Yes, I've heard it. You'll like it. You'll love it.
No, I won't.
No, you won't.
Can't hear it. It's got to be in the front of the microphone.
Oh, you didn't hear it? Okay,
yeah, you got to put it in the front of the microphone, and we'll hear it. Try it again. I hear it.
Hold on. Oh, damn it. Yeah.
I'm not making this up. I promise you it's not there. The last thing I want to do is fuck around with
spend 3 minutes on Budalicious
telling me about, I was at the game. I've never seen
it. Did it go through?
I was at the game. And you know who was there? The guy from Entourage was there. The one that's a turtle. He was there. You know who else was there? The guy that was in that show with that girl who was there. He was there. Ben Stiller was there. He played But the Fuckers. Like, I get it. What he basically said was, we're the New York Knicks. We're going to Miami and we're fucking winning. I understand it. I respect it. He's at the Garden. He's feeling emotional.
He's walking out. They just want to play.
Of course he's feeling like that. I don't know what, I don't know. I'm not like that as a fan, right? I don't act like that. I don't know what to tell everybody. Like, I think as a fan, you should stay humble when your team's done nothing. I
don't know, man. You're allowed to get excited when you win game 2 of a playoff game. It's a Nick second round.
If I had a pen, I would take the Heat off and I would write Nick culture. Overreaction, thinking we're better than everybody else, and getting emotional.
He said we're the fucking New York Knicks. We're going to Miami. We're taking it. He's excited. They just won game 2. How can you not be excited?
I get it. But we would write
This
Nick
is why
culture.
We can't go to a game together. I'm like that. And this is not just a Knicks thing. This is me at a Jets game. This is me at a Mets game. This is me. I'm yelling and screaming.
No.
Entire games.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm okay with you yelling and being emotional and excited and getting into it. But of course, there is nobody There is no fan base that's better at overreacting to themselves than the Knicks fan. It's like the Yankee fan and the Met fan had a baby, but the Jet fan came in and you're like, well, who's the mom? Like, that's what it's like. All three of them get together and they spit this putrid.
I don't know. I think Nets fans
out.
were getting a little gassed up when they had Mikal Bridges on a little bit of run in the middle of the
Hell
regular
yeah.
season. Like, oh man, listen, we got this team. Hey, we can win a round. We can do some things. We can do some damage. That's what they were saying. And now, look what happened. They got
Who
swept.
said they could win a round versus the Sixers? What are you talking about?
No, before the playoff series were seeded. I'm saying when they first got together and they started looking good, and you're like, oh,
No
okay. Yeah, you guys were
win
getting
a round?
excited. Of course you were. You're like,
Win
you're
a
getting excited.
round?
Maybe we can win a round. Maybe we can do some
Ugh.
things and do some stuff. We got a good future, and they're getting all hyped up.
I was in a good place until you had to play that audio. I was in a good place. I was in a
Buddha
good
ruined your
mental
night.
place. And you fucked it all up. So this can be a new thing where Buddha sends texts and we play him back.
If we can hear him, I mean, it was pretty funny. It was good. The last week was good. He was like very solid and put together. He sounded like a reporter. This one was like walking out of the garden to game 2, probably a little drunk. Yeah, we're the fucking Knicks. So anyway,
I
you want to go to
do I want to go to a Knick game?
Want to go to Lee? Not yet. No. Okay.
We can go to Lee.
Yes.
There's all these Knick people now invading the show.
So we have our Bad Weather Fans beat reporter is back for another report. Lee O'Valentin, the comedian, very great guy, big Knicks fan, guest host of the Bad Weather Fans podcast often. And let's hear it.
Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinal series between the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks kicked off tonight, but we look back at Game 1, which took an unfortunate turn. Heat star Jimmy Butler was driving to the basket when he rolled his right ankle while flopping. Despite Butler's injury, he walked around New York City today dressed like a violet candy. Heat coach Eric Spoelstra told reporters Tuesday morning that, quote, the Knicks are playing like it's 1999. It appears everyone in this series has weak-ass ankles, as both just above mid-stars Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are both questionable. In Brooklyn Nets news, speculation is mounting on the team acquiring Blazers point guard Dame Lillard. Rumors began when Dame visited the Clays to watch the Nets get clapped by the 76ers. As it turns out, Lillard was just there because he couldn't get front row seats to see a real playoff team, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jacques Vaughn and the Nets are parting ways with assistants Igor Kokosov, Brian Keefe, and Tiago Splitter. This is news because just a few years ago, the Nets didn't even need a coach. Reporting live from outside of Kenny Atkinson's We Made It Out the First Round party, for Bad Weather Fans podcast, I'm Lee Valentin.
All right, Lee, we appreciate that. Making me smile a little bit with your Kenny Atkinson joke. Yeah. I did get a little amused by that. That was funny. Lakers and Warriors actually playing right now. Warriors up 57-56. But by the time you're listening to this, Bad Weather fans, that game will most likely be done. The Brooklyn Nets had a rumor, some GM poll that came out. I should probably know exactly. Some stupid thing that's probably not have no reality.
Some assistant GM said something.
and also back to Lee, the Nets losing their 3 assistant coaches, so they need to fill in the coaching staff.
Yes.
But this Ben Simmons for John Collins rumor, I personally would not do it if I were the Nets, because you're taking on more years in contract for Collins. And at this point, I don't think it really even matters. I think John Collins is not the same player. Is he an upgrade from Ben Simmons? Of course. Don't get me wrong. That'd be foolish and would be irresponsible for me to say. But in the scheme of rebuilding a future, I rather get the years off the book faster. And if that means Ben Simmons has one less year in his contract, to me, that has more value than, let me say, get a better player in John Collins. Like, where does that get you in what you're trying to do and win a title run? John Collins was interesting as a Net fan 2 years ago when you were like, we got Durant, we got Harden, we got Irving. Can we go over the top and add a rebounding guy that can shoot some threes and is athletic? He's lost all of that. And now to a team that's, in kind of limbo rebuild-ish mode, doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I hear you. I just feel like, you know what? You're getting nothing out of Ben Simmons, and you don't want to stretch him out for some reason. And you want to stretch him out either you want to next year or you want to try to trade him next year is what you want to do, which is smart. But you're basically punting on a large portion of your salary cap this year again. And I don't. Do the Nets have their own pick next year or no?
They do not. Their
do
pick.
not. So
oh no,
they
have their own this pick this year.
Oh, okay, they do. Okay, so that makes sense. So they could essentially tank if blow up.
They have Philly's pick and they have Phoenix's pick.
Oh, so that's not good.
I think that's what it is. The Net Police, you're out there. I know Corey, if you're listening to this, you're gonna text me.
Whatever it is, they don't have their own pick. It doesn't matter, right? So that's for the point of the.
They don't have their own pick this year because they couldn't tank. Right. That was the whole idea. Like,
no, I mean next year, do they have their own pick in 24?
They should have it. I don't think so. Let me double check. Yeah, they've traded so many fucking picks. Hang tight.
Yeah, it's really hard to keep up. You're not like a fake fan for not. It's just so many fucking trades. But anyway, so Ben Simmons has next year and the year after, and John Collins. So that's 2 years left, and John Collins has 3 years left. And John Collins is less money, right? He's $25 million a year or so, 26, 25 million a year for each year. I would do that because you're getting the rebounding you need. You're getting a potential. He's only 26 years old. You know, you never know. Maybe he just needs a new scenery. I mean, he's wanted to get traded from the Hawks for a couple of years now. And Ben Simmons is giving you nothing. It's about time. He's going to come in. He's going to play 10 games. He's going to get you all excited. And then he's going to, my back hurts and he's going to be done again and waste another season. You know, if somebody wants to take Ben Simmons off your hand, you have to do it unless you want to stretch him out, in my opinion. So I know you don't want to stretch him out and you're just willing to just punt and just wait and wait and wait and wait. But
it's only 2 years.
What do you, 2 years is a long time, man. It's 2 years in Mikal Bridges' career. Like, what do you, is he going to want to wait around for that? I mean,
I'd rather take,
and then
honestly rather take the chance on if he.
What if you get Dame? What if you get Dame? Would you make the trade then if you get Dame, or you
have to trade Ben Simmons? Then we're changing ideas. Yes.
Yeah.
Now you're refocusing the. Right. Now we're changing the landscape of here.
Then that makes sense to get Collins.
I would be more open to it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Got it.
I'll tell you.
Then you just need talent. Yeah.
This is the one. This is the one net topic that actually interests me more. To being transparent. James Harden playing great, and I'm not rooting. I'm not like. I don't know. I found myself rooting for him. Don't ask me why. It's not healthy, but it was just a memory. It was a moment. It was a reminder of just how big of a failure the Nets were. That him, Kyrie, and Durant were together is just a reminder of how much of a failure that was. And seeing him in real time be brilliant in the playoffs was just like, wow, hitting me home. We really blew an opportunity. Like, I blew an opportunity to actually see a title.
Yeah. And Harden was your guy, right? When he came and he was playing well, you were like, oh, this is my guy. I like Harden a lot. And we were also talking about this a couple of weeks ago, I think, on the show, where I was getting upset at people like calling Harden, he fell off, when meanwhile he's just doing what it takes to win, because he's the number 2 guy to Embiid. And he's like, listen, I'm doing what it takes. And now Embiid is gone and he comes out and dominates and he shows that he could still be Harden. And everybody's like, oh, I guess he can still be Harden. Like, yeah, well, you can't kill the guy for never adapting his game his entire career. And then when he adapts his game, you kill him for that and say he's done. And then when he plays well, you're like, oh, shit, we're stupid. You know what I mean? It's just like everybody's got to be so extreme. It just drives me crazy.
Well, he was bad at the end of last season for the Sixers in the playoffs. He had a bad playoff. Sure. He's gone under the radar this year and has quietly had a good season. But without getting the attention of some of the other guys, and it's kind of gone under the radar. Now, I don't think James Harden's the same player as he was at Houston. He's not that guy, but he's shown that he can be a reliable 2. He's getting everybody else involved and he's hitting big shots. And I just found myself incredibly upset watching that as a reminder of just how much the Nets fucking blew it to win a title.
Yeah, and it's not even them that blew it. It was really Kyrie that just torpedoed the entire franchise. You know, if all he had to do was show up and play for like a year or maybe one more year, and literally and be a good, a good teammate, and literally the Nets probably win a championship or at least get to the finals or make a run that gets you excited. And that's all you wanted, was at least one run. You deserved one run as a Nets fan, going through all that and getting that excited for the players that you got. And you got nothing. And I mean, it was great for me, but as a Nets fan, you deserved one time, 1 year where you can dream it could happen this year.
Crazy, right? And I'll end on this note with the Nets. Sean Marks, good GM, bad GM. I'll say this about Sean Marks. Sean Marks was a great GM before Kyrie Irving got to the Nets. When Kyrie Irving got to the Nets, he became a terrible GM. Now, do you want to say that's Kyrie's fault, or do you want to say that's Sean Marks' fault? I'll leave that up for the audience to make their own rational decision. Kyrie Irving is now gone. Let's see what kind of GM Sean Marks is with Kyrie Irving out. Is he the GM that was pre-Kyrie that people were like, this is incredible, he rebuilt a team with no draft picks? Or is he the GM that had Kyrie Irving and the team was a major disaster, made bad moves with smaller role players, and it all didn't work out and ultimately got blown up? Or does Sean Marks deserve a chance to do the rebuild part 2? I'm curious to see what he does now without Kyrie. Pre-Kyrie, he was brilliant. With Kyrie, he was terrible. Let's see what he does now in part 3.
He definitely deserves another chance because you say this all the time, and I don't necessarily agree, but you say this all the time that if you could do it all over again, you would go take the swing with Durant and Kyrie all over again right now. So you can't kill the GM for doing that and then having it implode because Kyrie was crazy. You know what I mean? You can't.
I agree.
You can't criticize the guy. Like, he built the Nets up from nothing. They were nowhere, and they became a playoff team and then landed stars. And then the stars went crazy and it didn't work out. And now you're going to fire the guy? Like, no, this is the perfect guy that's going to rebuild the team. Like, he already did it with their team. So why wouldn't you as an owner have confidence in Sean Marks to do it again? You know what I mean? At least get you relevant again. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all.
Just so much of the fan base just hates him.
Well, because they're little kids. They love Kyrie. They love Durant. They see all the stars. They're like, oh, they didn't let him do what he wants. And, you know, they're not rational. In a couple of years when they grow up, they'll realize that, you know, actually these guys aren't that great. You know what I mean? They're just players, you know? Like, I don't know.
The moves that Mark should be, you know, where he hasn't done anything was he couldn't find a rebounder. Couldn't find depth at the rebounding position. He let Jeff Green and Bruce Brown go, who are both now thriving in Denver.
That was bad.
Those are the moves that killed this.
But were they his moves, or was that dictated by Durant and Kyrie? That's the thing we'll never know.
Well,
you know what I mean?
KD and Jeff Green are buddies. They're
right.
Friends all the way back from Seattle.
The Sonics. Yeah.
So I don't think it was that. I don't know their true
Maybe
feelings.
Not that.
Like, Bruce Brown to me would be one of the ultimate guests to have on Bad Weather Fans to hear, because he would talk. And I would be like, what the fuck happened? Like, he would get it. Like, to me, he'd be so interesting to talk to.
Yeah. We'll call him up. Let's get him on the phone right now.
Right. You got anything going on this week?
Yeah. Hey, listen, the Nets can turn it around and they can be fine with Sean Marks. They can. They got the picks. They got some players. It's just Ben Simmons is the enigma. And whatever happens with that is what's going to, tell the story for the next 5 years of the Nets, in my opinion. Whatever they decide to do there, are they going to stretch him? Are they going to trade him? Are they going to be able to get Dame? Are they going to use him to get Dame? He's just this anchor around the franchise's neck. You don't know what's going to happen there, but whatever. You know what the good news is? The Knicks are tied the series at 1-1, and we're going back to Miami at 1-1, and I'm not confident, but whatever.
Yeah, fuck it. But I shouldn't say I'm not confident. I'm feeling better that this series, that Miami can play with the Knicks. They definitely can.
Yes.
And
now we're seeing what the Bucks the Bucks like ran into a buzzsaw, like, oh shit. Like, this is not a team.
No Jimmy Butler, man. I mean, hopefully that ankle is okay. I get what they did, right? Like, he's going to get a full week off.
Right.
Thank God for this schedule. Could not have helped Miami more. Having a basically 4 to 5 days off, I mean, really helps Miami.
Right.
Thank God for that.
And he did walk around drinking coffee in New York City. So good for Jimmy Butler. He got to take a walk with an espresso cup. That was nice of him to, see the.
You're obsessed with this photo. Like, you think it was.
It's so corny, dude. It was so staged.
Of course it was. Of course it was staged.
Look it up. It's just so corny. Like, what are you doing? Like,
get coffee.
Yeah, you're trolling. You're trying to get the Knicks scared that he's gonna play. That, you know what I mean? It's just like, all right, dude, you're walking around drinking coffee in New York City. That's way different than playing 40 minutes at the Garden. You know what I mean? Like, it's just okay, man. You can walk, but I don't know. It was stupid. And shout out to Doug B, the Twitter guy, friend on Twitter, Knicks fan, where he posed and did the exact pose as Jimmy Butler with the coffee cup.
Saw that. It was Doug taller than I thought.
Yes, he's very tall.
I was like, wow, Doug's tall.
Big fan of the show.
First reaction.
Shout out to Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Doug's tall guy.
Yeah.
Always weird about that. Like you meet somebody in real life, you're like, oh, they're smaller than I thought. Or you're like, oh, that's a big dude.
Yeah, my wife is short. She's like 5'4", I want to say, right? I don't know. You've met her in person. And but she's got this really big personality. And during COVID, everything was on Zoom. So when she finally met when she finally met some coworkers that she had that were new and whatever that got with the company she worked at,
Right.
they're like, "Oh my God, I thought you were so much taller."
Right.
Just because she's just this loud, like very, energetic person. And
Right.
And like, oh my God, you're like,
So you know what
4
I'm
feet
talking
tall.
about?
Yeah. No,
All
I get it.
people.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think,
It's
like, who have I met? I'm like, wow, they're taller than I
True.
thought. I don't know. I'm not gonna
She
brainstorm. tall
just heard
people.
me. She texted me. She goes, 5'2" and a fourth. Thanks for the extra 2 inches.
Hey,
you're welcome.
I don't think we. Yeah, it's been a wild episode.
Yes. My wife from the shower is texting me. She just got out of the shower, texting me from the bathroom.
Got a booming voice.
Yeah,
Probably like, and turn off that Bootylicious audio for the 10th damn
we're
time.
the fucking Knicks.
Man, Bootylicious gets me. There's some people that they know how to needle me. Not that he was trying there, but that's one of them.
And Coonies is another one.
No, Coonies is good. Coonies doesn't get me. No.
Yeah.
Coonies and I have a respect. There was a respect factor there. I don't think Booty and I have the respect yet.
Bootylicious.
I think Bootylicious and I don't respect Bootylicious.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that.
Bootylicious, his name is, by the way.
I respect Bootylicious. I don't know about this Bootylicious.
Yeah. We'll see. I respect Spen. Fireside Nets. Shout out to him. I was just
you guys had a great show. That was very
great.
entertaining.
That was a fun show. Check that out on Fireside Nets. It was on the last episode, which is now probably half of it is probably outdated because we previewed game 2. But check it out. It's fun. We did some role playing with Mike Mike
doesn't sound right.
Mike, yeah, no.
Sounds like
Ben was
sexual.
Mike and I was Sean Marks, and then there was another one where I was me and he was Julius Randle, and there was a lot of fun stuff like that. So check it out. It was a lot of gags and fun, quirky stuff.
Okay. Bad weather
playing
fans,
with gags. That's what we're.
Bad weather fans, right here. The heat culture is real. Series tied 1-1. Don't forget, everybody, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're not, head over to YouTube, type in and watch Bad Weather Fans. You can see the video version of this podcast, Apple, Spotify, all the good places. Please give us a 5-star rating. Leave a comment if you're listening on Apple. We've had some awesome interviews in the past. Tracy McGrady, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq hasn't been on. That's not true. I just lied. Tracy McGrady, Richard Jefferson,
Abraham Lincoln,
Gary Kittles, Abraham Lincoln.
Thomas Jefferson.
Who am I forgetting here? Buzz Aldridge. Who else has been on this podcast? We've had a lot of good people. Point is, check it out. Tell people you like. Tell people you don't like. It's a Nets and Knicks podcast. I promise you, if you come here, it's a safe place. If you're a Net fan, if it's a Knicks fan, we defend each other's turf. We have fun doing it. We take it seriously, and we also don't take it seriously. And I just need the Heat to figure it out. Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, ABC. Hopefully, it's not Mike Breen doing the call. Not because I don't want to hear him, but because I love to hear Knicks fans complain on Twitter.
Yes, Mike Breen is better than Iron Eagle. I'm sorry, I love Iron Eagle, but come on, I need Breen. But he's my guy. That's why.
Well, it's a complicated. First of all, because Iron's going to be.
Iron's
great. It's your guy.
Iron's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's just.
Of course, it's what you grew up.
What's great is that for me as a Knicks fan, this is really quick before we end the show. What's great for Knicks fans, for announcers, is that Mike Breen is our hometown guy. And then on the national, on ABC, ESPN, Mike Breen is our guy too. And then he has Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson, who are also Knicks. So it's like they know the team. Mark Jackson's a little more quirky than, well, not quirky, but a little more out there than Jeff Van Gundy. Jeff Van Gundy's still more pays attention a little more. And, they at least you feel like you're getting they know the team. You know what I mean? You listen to like Jim Jackson tonight. It's just like, all right, dude, like, have you watched more than 3 games of the Knicks this year? I don't really know.
Can I ask you an honest
Was it Jim
question?
Jackson? It was him,
It was
right?
Jimmy J. Can I ask you an honest? I have a Jim. Can I ask you? Can I ask you a question?
No.
Do you think our listeners didn't know that
About Mike Breen?
Yeah, about the Jeff Van Gundy and all of that.
I'm giving my opinion. That people can know what they fucking know. I don't give a shit.
You don't think they knew that?
Don't you get excited when Iron Eagle's doing your national game that you have to watch? And
I
at
don't.
least
Well,
it's
yeah,
like
I mean, he hasn't done many net national games
That's
to be
true.
honest, because
That's
he's
true.
doing the
But
net
Breen
game, or
was
they're
doing the
not.
Lakers game, right? Oh no, he wasn't. No, he's not. Maybe he just had the day
Yeah.
off, man. Mike Breen needs a day off.
All right,
Good for
let's move it along.
Okay,
Send you a
quickly,
text. I'm gonna send you a text to make you laugh.
what's your
Don't repeat it. It's just to make
yeah,
you laugh.
little secret text
Yeah,
of the Bad
little
Weather
secret
Fans
text.
Club. But real quick to end it, what's your pick of the Knicks Heat right now? It's 1-1 going back
Knicks
to Miami.
in 7.
Knicks in 7. Okay.
And
I'm
this is
sticking
the
with
game
Knicks
they
in
blew.
6.
And this is the game they blew.
Okay.
The Miami.
Yeah. I'm sticking with Knicks in 7. Knicks in 6, I mean. I'm sorry. Knicks in 6. I'm sticking with that for now. We'll see after game 3. Might have to change it, but
So they
did not give me confidence, but I'm going to try to stay the course. They weren't going to win every game. Lost game 1. They won game 2. Still can win in 6. I'm still going with that.
So they win. So they split. They come home, and then they win the next 2.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Well, I hope you're wrong.
Heat culture.
Everybody out there, this heat culture is real.
Yes.
The people. Wow, what's his name? What's his fucking name? I'm spacing out, and I should know it. But at the fan, the digital guy, Gallo.
Izzo?
No,
Oh,
Gallo.
Yeah.
It's going on the air and telling me how heat culture isn't real because they signed a free agent or 2. Like, what team doesn't sign free agents?
Right. That's like people saying, "Oh, Riley's overrated. All he did was draft Dwayne Wade after having Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway." Like that makes him good.
Bringing in LeBron and Bosh,
bringing in LeBron and Bosh, getting Shaq, like you know what I mean. Like that makes him good. Like getting Jimmy Butler and like never tanking, like that makes him good. Makes it what it is. That's not luck. That's good.
Can you name the teams that Pat Riley's been involved with
in his life?
Mm-hmm. In the NBA?
Lakers.
Yep.
Knicks.
Yep.
Heat. What am I
He
missing?
named the 2 he's won titles with.
The Lakers. The Heat.
That's right.
Okay. Am I missing one? The Knicks? Just because you wanted to just make the Knicks joke that he didn't win with the Knicks?
That's right.
Well, yeah, I'm used to that. I mean, I'm used to a guy winning everywhere else and then never winning with the team that I'm watching.
Phil Jackson
won. Phil Jackson won a title in the 70s with the Knicks. Went to the Bulls, as you're familiar. Won titles, $1 million. Went to the Lakers, as you're familiar. Won titles, $1 million. Comes back to the Knicks and then doesn't win anything. Pat Riley wins with the Lakers and the Heat, doesn't win with the Knicks. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. You know, Brett Favre wins with the Packers, doesn't win with the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, we'll see what happens. You know, okay.
Josh Hart flopping all over the place.
Oh my god! And he hurt his back flopping at the end of the game. Like, why are you flopping? The game's over, dude. Like, yeah.
I'll say this: I haven't watched the press conference, but if he's eating popcorn with Jalen Brunson, that would be the ultimate sign of disrespect. He better not be doing that again. Like, it comes a point where I know they're having fun and they're buddies.
No, this is.
But
at
like
the end of a series, you can have fun. But right now,
I would not fuck around with that. Like Jimmy Butler will see that. Who was eating popcorn, by the way, during that game.
Jimmy Butler, you know, he may show up in a full outfit in the next game instead of
his arms look great. I mean, come on. Don't tell me you didn't see that. And you're like, that
he saves money on cloth, man. It's good for him, man. He saves money on cloth, gets the free espressos in the lobby of the hotel, and gets to walk around taking pictures of himself. You know, it's good. It's a great life.
Not bad, but not Jimmy Butler arms. My God.
Yeah, no, those are not Jimmy Butler arms. Nice Jason Kidd shirt, by the way. New Jersey.
Well, it's more than Jason Kidd. It's all the.
It's got the whole team. I just see his face. He's been staring at me this whole episode.
My lovable losers. All right.
Yes. Okay,
Bad Weather Fans, episode 170. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Especially you, Booty.